She should have got it. I shouldn't have to invite her, because I invited her.
Gets more elaborate every time.
On hold.
There she goes.
Hey!
Next time she's
Yay!
gonna have to with pink letters.
That's way better.
Hi. Let me fix mine. Can you see me? What happened here?
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Tilt down. Got some lettuce in your teeth.
But we can see you, and you can see us.
Okay, yes, I can see you. Oh, it's working now. I'm good. Hello, I am here.
Board Aaron. Aaron Board. Okay.
Call this meeting to order.
7:04.
7:03.
Sorry. Aaron, when you aren't talking though, you need to mute your mic.
Okay.
Okay. And it's Gabby Devin, D-A-V-I-N. Okay, report on closed session.
Direction was given to staff.
Do we need to say you guys are going back in or anything?
No,
Okay, just checking.
we covered that territory.
Okay.
Do we have any public comments for items that are not on the agenda? No. All right.
As you can see, Director Sangster, it's a new format for the staff and committee reports.
See that?
Might want
And I have someone here for Camp Roberts.
public that we've rearranged the agenda somewhere.
Yes. For all in attendance, we rearranged the staff and committee reports on the agenda.
And the agenda items.
And
And agenda items. We have changed the order that we'll be going through the items on the agenda. The new order will be 1, 2, 3, 8, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, 9,
7 and 9.
7.
Under staff and committee reports.
I will know.
You have what?
Oh. Well, let's begin with the staff and committee reports. No Samuels with Camp Roberts.
Camp Roberts, we have First Sergeant Hanson. He's here tonight.
Please.
Sergeant Hanson, can I have you go to the podium and sign in?
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I had a question about your order. Did you say 8, 10, and 11?
1, 2, 3,
Yep.
8, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 will be the order.
Okay, so I don't see a 9, 10, and 11 to begin with. Is that,
Where's the action items?
Just, do you have anything to comment?
their
about
numbers
Camp
further
Roberts?
down?
Yeah, they're the action ones.
Okay.
Can they just give us a report of activities and things
Bless
that
you.
have going on that
The
we've
pain.
experienced in the community?
Yeah, just so you know, I want to go over the last 30 days. We had the Buzz Marathon on the 15th of February. We had about 175 participants. Camp Roberts spent a week, about 2 weeks ago, focusing on their procedures on the base for dealing with emergencies, internal emergency management, internal policies and procedures. So we revetted that and basically solidified a little bit more of our internal procedures on how we will deal with emergencies or different situations on the base. So that went very well. So that was synchronization of efforts. For the next 30, 60 days, we really don't have any community activities scheduled at the base. but we are going to have an influx of troops for probably about 1,500 troops in the next 2 months doing various training exercises. The most that we're really gonna have here is small arms fire and mortars. So that shouldn't be too loud, too disturbing, or cause any issues for the community. And as you guys all know, JIFIX, our UAV exercises will be continuing to go through periodically, so. And those are all kept within the controlled boundaries. That's it for me. Any other questions?
Do you guys have any information if you will be housing potential coronavirus patients there?
No. So what happened was, from my recollection, is the DHS came down and took a look at our location, and it's not going to meet their needs. So at this time, there will be no outpatient care or anything like that. So as of right now, we are completely out of the mix of that. But again, if anything changes, we'll let you guys know immediately. So.
Thank you.
But yes, that is
Thank you. Everybody was kind of perked up, this is that one.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Do I leave this with anybody, an agenda?
If you can leave it with us here, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank God.
Then community service organizations?
How do we start?
Michelle, I'll sign in.
So I'm the Secretary and Treasurer of the San Miguel Firefighters Association. We meet once a month on the fourth Tuesday here. Since this is our first report, I thought I'd just give overview of what we do, and then going forward, just give monthly updates. So, our primary goal is to support the firefighters and our community. In doing so, we help support financially or otherwise injured or ill firefighters. San Miguel fundraisers. Every year we sponsor a child that's been injured by fire to go to camp. We participate in the burn relay and fire prevention week at the grade schools in San Luis Obispo. We run barbecue for the Buzz Run, the AIDS Life Cycle, and Pleasant Valley school events. We maintain and repair the San Miguel Fire antique apparatuses, including the bucket wagon and the two engines. We're working on a community cleanup. We're in the parades in Paso and here in San Miguel. We put on the Santa visits to San Miguel. Last year we had 200 kids show, which was kind of cool.
That's great.
And we try to promote the good things that are happening in San Miguel. Our current projects are getting the trailer finished up for the bucket wagon and antique apparatuses to go to local events. We're working on getting cameras set up at Station 1 and other parts of town so we can hopefully reduce some of the vandalizing and property damage from the kids. And trying to put together a history of the San Miguel Fire Department, like the newspaper and stuff like that. So far, or last year, we purchased the A-frame barricades that we use for the parades and other events here. Got rid of the trailer frame trash that was left over by the flour mill. We got our financials in order and all of our taxes are in good standing now. The GoPro for department events and the firefighter training. And that's pretty much it. If there's any questions. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just say one comment? Thank you to the Firefighters Association for, I read the case writing news article that got out today.
That went out really well.
Yes, it did.
It reached out a lot farther than I anticipated it going.
They have a microchip scanner for lost pets, so they're gonna scan those and make sure that they get returned to the right owner. Is that correct? I don't wanna.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was Michelle's idea to purchase a microchip scanner, so we did so and put it on our Facebook, and KSBY called. They actually came to the association with the cameraman and did a little news blurb. So if you go to ksby.com, you can catch it. And it actually got the attention of other agencies all the way down to San Luis Obispo County Animal Control Services. So the news feed was targeted, the live was from the animal services, and then it kind of infilled back to us, and then went to the other agencies. Like, hey, these things are $70, and you could save people's animals and time and things like that. So,
And resources at the community too.
Right.
so something that was so simple actually had a big impact. I was very impressed.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any other community reports, advisory council?
That's you.
We looked at a couple of projects last night. The Caltrans update on some changes they're doing on 10th Street. They've decided they're not going to do any slope paving in our community on 10th or Mission Street. They want to keep our country integrity, is what they were talking about, instead of bringing us up to the standard of everybody else. Pretty much.
Okay.
So, we'll accept, guess we pretty much have to accept it, that's how it's going, but that's what they talked about last night. And then we had a project over on N Street, right over there where they're, who is this people? B&B Supply and Equipment, LLC, and they're trying to get their permits to stay there. It appears that the house that's on that's commercial property, but the house is not commercial, in the center of the property. How that happened, nobody knows, but they're trying to get it all made commercial so the woman can have her business there. And they also wanted to have curbs and gutters and sidewalks put in front of her lot.
Why wouldn't they want to
Just-
restore the country?
Yeah, just the one lot.
Just the one lot.
One
So we accepted the project and with a request that they don't have to put a sidewalk. The chamber came up and we're having a mixer, our third mixer that's going to be out at Camp Roberts on the 3rd of March. And
Coming up.
yep, real soon. And if you want to get on to it, it's 6 o'clock at Camp Roberts. And if you've never seen the museum, it's really worth seeing. It's probably about the best war museum on our coast. And that's
saying something.
saying something for us. It's a pretty good. And then we're going to have Caledonia Days on April 18th. That's from the organizations.
It's April 18th.
April 18th.
Okay.
So if you want to participate, if you have an old tractor.
Did you say March 3rd, 6 to 8?
Yeah.
3-3. On 2-3.
And then Caledonia Days 18th, and Sagebrush is the 25th.
Mike, can you, on your way, just get you to sign the paper?
Okay, that might be up there again.
Okay, when you get around.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Sanders. So the country feelings, that means that the weeds and that stuff all stay there, nothing else will be done, just left kind of?
Yeah. So we'll have to probably, weed abatement.
Who came out to speak? Did somebody come out to speak?
Yeah, the people that are, the engineer showed up, and so did the lady that's over the project. So.
All right, moving along to district staff and committee reports. Interim general manager.
All right, a little lengthy one, so bear with me. Board member, Director Joe Parent has resigned from his position as a board member. A formal letter of notification was made to the board president and board members on January 29th, 2020. The board of directors has 60 days from the date of the resignation to fill the vacancy with an appointed person interested in filling the seat. Individuals interested can apply at the district no later than 4 o'clock on March 16th. The selection will be made at the March 26th regular meeting. This appointment will fill the seat at the March meeting immediately after the selection is made. The selection will finish out the term that will end with the regular November election. If the individual selected chooses to remain on the board, they'll have to register for the election and run on the November ballot. Do you guys have any questions about that?
What's the alternative?
The bylaws. Okay, I can read the bylaws to you. I got that right here. If you want me to go through it.
Well, I think it's a law. It's not our bylaws.
Well, yeah, so 60 days we have to fill the position. If it doesn't, it goes to the county board of supervisors, and we could be forced to hold a special election to bring a person on to fill that seat, or they could appoint somebody. It's actually to our best interest to fill that seat on March 26th, and if we don't, then we'll have to address a special election possibly. My understanding after talking with our legal was they would, if we were looking or have prospects, the 60 days is not like a drop dead issue where you gotta go into an election, but if no progress is being made, then we're gonna be forced to do something.
Okay.
Have you had any interested parties up to this point?
Yes, we had a young lady come in, and I was hoping to see her here this evening. I do not, but we'll reach out to her and possibly others some more, so we'll try to get a few candidates, so you guys have a selection.
And when you refer to our bylaws, is somehow different than the laws?
No, it's a board vacancy, chapter 8 in our board bylaws. I can read through that if you'd like me to.
Well, no, it shouldn't be exactly, isn't it
It
exactly the
basically
same?
says, yeah, you have 60 days and, to make the appointment, and if you don't, or we fail to get someone seated in the position, then we have to report it to the county, and then they can make an appointment or tell us we have to have a special election. The district staff also, we've been reviewing the purchasing policy. Director Sangster did a review and made some recommendations. After we reviewed changes, it was recommended that further review so that the policy will be placed on the March agenda. So we'll be bringing that to you. The county preliminary property tax revenue estimates for the fiscal year of 2021. The lighting department is estimated to have $124,439, and the fire department revenue is estimated at $417,997, and that's for 2021.
Could you repeat lighting? I'm sorry.
124,439.
These are estimates for the fiscal years 2021?
Correct. That'll be, yeah. So they sent out an estimate for the preliminary property assessment. County clerk, our accounting clerk, took and passed the bilingual test with hiring temp service, so we contacted a temp service that does bilingual assessments. She took the test and passed it, so she received the 50-cent merit increase in her pay. Currently, we have 8 members attending fire training Saturday and Sunday from now through April 5th, trying to up our volunteers. It's going good so far. Hopefully, we'll have all of them there when we get to the end. Scott's put together some information on your action items tonight. We're moving forward with getting more information about the housing unit, and he'll have a report for you. We have a new employee, Charlie Van Brunt, who filled the vacancy utility worker position that opened when Matt Stiles resigned from the position. And he'll be starting at step 1 and is a SEMIA member. Is there anything to add to that, Kelly? Director Calvins and I attended a meeting on February 21st with Tom Bordenaro and tax assessor and a county tax collector. I didn't get it.
I'll pull it up.
Director Calvins will have an update later in the agenda regarding the land-based tax value. Don't forget, you guys need to fill out 700 forms. It is due to be completed by April. If you haven't done so, see tomorrow. She's very helpful. On March 4th, our ISO insurance program analytic services will be here to review the fire department and the water department on our fire protection classification and also the water department.
Question?
Yes.
What town class are we in now?
We're an 8/8X. Remember it used to be a 1 through 10?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, and he would have to explain it to me, probably all of us, why it's a 8/8X. But we won't get much better than that without having full-time personnel. But because we have our emergency response program, and we're documenting our response times and everything, they look for the data, and the hard data could actually change our rate to bring it down lower. And then our services, it's an 8/, not like 8.8, it's like 8/8X. And I don't know what the 8X part plays in that role. But we have a chance of improving, and they look to try to improve because it helps on your insurance rates. Let's see, SDMRA annual liability insurance renewal questionnaire sent out on 2/13/20, and we got a $175 discount because it was submitted early. We're gonna thank you tomorrow, parent. We're reviewing a couple different policies. We got a few things going. Again, the purchasing policy, solid waste franchise agreement. So we come into a new agreement, but we're also working on the solid waste ordinance. So those two things will be coming to you in the near future. We're starting the 2020-21 budget process with our first district staff meeting on Wednesday, March 11th. So we'll start the process here so that we can get you guys information early and not be dealing with it at the last minute. Let's see, the 2019 government compensation report to Cal State Controller's Office, Betty Yee, is due on April 1st, and that's one of the things they're working on. It's a fairly in-depth report. The EAR, Electronic Annual Report to the State of California for Water. Kelly and Tamar both have been working on that, and that's a report that is 50 hours plus to complete, so it's taking quite a bit of their time. Governmental Accounting Standard Board, the GATSB 74 and GATSB 75 public agencies are required to report as an expense on its financial statements and audit its liability for costs pertaining to current and future retired employees' health and other post benefits, working with a grant from the California School Board Association for a discount of $2,500, where our regular cost would be $4,000 to $7,000. So with their help, we've been able to trim that.
Medic engine 15 medic squad 15 medically difficulty breathing. Morrow Shores Mobile Home Park.
As part of our master plan, Director Calvins has also done some research and found information. You may want to comment on this and add more to it, but Director Calvins has looked into Strong Towns. It's a national group that looks at developing and improving cities. And he's got some prices. Him and I spoke to an individual from that organization, and they come out and do seminars, and he roughly quoted us about $8,000. And so we thought maybe better to attend one of their seminars somewhere else. And he's put together, he found one, but it's in Florida, and it's the cost estimate to bring them to San Miguel is about $8,000. And we're not sure if that includes the travel cost, so it could be more than that. The Florida conference plan is a 2-day conference. And it'll give the tools to be used in an action plan and implementing in San Miguel, and will also feature case studies in communities that are using their approach. So he's looked up this information and wants to try to gather information so that, you know, we have tools to do our master planning, and if you have anything you want to add to that.
Sure, after you're done with your report.
Well, that would conclude my report, unless you have something to say.
So Strong Towns, it was founded by a licensed professional engineer who has a bachelor's in civil engineering and a master's in urban and regional planning. He's been doing this for over 20 plus years. He's ranked in the top 10 most influential figures in urban planning and government finance in the country. His conference is in Florida, which actually is near, it's about a couple hours from my mother's house. And so, considering the cost of everything else, it would be significantly cheaper to take a cheap date instead of having him come on out here. I could get the board's comments. I could take all those single comments to their conference, and they would work on them for me. I think it's like about 5 to 10% of the total cost of them trying to come out here. This group was founded because a lot of communities are actually apparently going broke across our country. A lot of them keep asking for tax increases. Even in our own community, I think almost every single CSD has asked for a tax increase. The cities are asking for a sales tax increase. Obviously, our cities have something that's going on, and their approach is to look into that and figure out what the heck, why are we keep raising our taxes? Are our cities fiscally insolvent? And they have a 4-point approach to define what a strong town is, which I'll just read off real quick. A strong town community would be financially stable, manageable long-term financial obligations, not losing population faster than is being replaced, and not losing jobs faster than they are being replaced. So also at their conference, which is 2 days, they chose Pensacola because that was apparently their model community, which after about 30 years of declining population rebounded in the last 5 years and has increased their tax base by 36% over that decline. So they've returned completely, and they're now fiscally sustainable in the long term. So their key takeaways: the attendees will lead with positive solutions around their most pressing problems, new ways to think about resources in their communities, ideas for collaboration with stakeholders, and tactics for dealing with resistance. They will go, let's see here. So they'll go over case studies of other communities. They will develop a path to help you move from planning to execution. So that will be the first day. We'll be going over all the issues that each community has, so we can take all of our issues that we have, present to them. And then the following day, they will complete action plans for our community. The total cost for this conference, if we include flight, hotel, the conference itself, and I was looking at like really cheap hotels, would be, if we don't include drive time, would be about $800. The conference itself is $200, and then the hotels are the other thing. And that would just be for 2 days for going over there. I know a lot of other conferences like CSDA, which I attended, I got out of my own pocket, was pushing $600. And that did not include hotel, room, food, fuel, or anything else. So if we look at a master plan, trying to bring in someone else as a consultant, we're looking at about $50,000 to $60,000. This may be a cheaper way to look at it, and I just want to have that conversation with my colleagues. So, wow.
So do you guys have any questions for me on my report?
I also sent, I don't know if it got out, I sent some of those articles on what that group was about after our last meeting. I don't know if that got out to my other colleagues on the board. I sent you that email, I had those articles on.
Yeah, I think I sent those out to you
Okay.
guys, but I can look. I'm sure. I usually send a notice and you send it to me.
But obviously I just look at the fact that, I mean, every single community, even the ones that are more well-off and more prosperous than us are, I mean, Paso Robles is growing like crazy, and they're asking for a sales tax increase, you know? Templeton had asked for a property tax increase. Obviously, something is wrong, you know, and Santa Maria.
So the question would be, would you guys like to see this as an action item in March?
To discuss it.
When is the conference?
Conference is April 30th through May 1st.
What was the other item that you were going to bring back in March? That you mentioned in your report?
Oh, the other one was just the purchasing policy.
Just.
I do have 9 items, I think, so far.
Okay.
Public comment, please.
Very much, Anthony, I enjoy and appreciate your enthusiasm. I have a question. By community, do you mean incorporated community?
No, they work with communities from 250 people up to 100,000 people.
So they work within a county?
They'll work with an unincorporated community as well. They actually did have a community that competed and followed their plan that was unincorporated and had 250
And how
people
many do they have in California?
that are following this plan. Let's see, they actually had a, they actually worked in Camarillo, Los Gatos, Santa Ana, Anaheim. They did, but those people paid big dollars to have them work for like a week plus. This is
So they worked for them, meaning?
They went in there, they did very in-depth. What they do is a value per acre study to find out which neighborhoods are actually producing the most revenue, what neighborhoods are taking all your money from your community and sending it down the toilet, things like that. So, but they have worked in different areas, and this guy, his town that he comes from has 6,000 people, and his first 10 contracts were for towns of under 1,000 people. And that was where he kind of got started on this. It was like, wait a minute, all these small towns are going belly up across the country.
So aside from seminars, he is essentially a consultant that puts together a revenue generating plan or a cost plan, cost analysis based on community revenues for given areas. Is also crafting a master plan.
He will give examples of what we can do to craft into our own master plan. Their philosophy is you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime.
And do you know or have any idea of how much he would charge? Let's say the board decided, let's bring him here and do this. Do you have any idea what the cost or something like that?
Yes, we had a phone call conversation with them, and it was about $8,000 plus travel.
To come and work here?
Yes.
Do you mean to develop a plan, or do you mean to just come and talk about what he
It would be both. He would talk about the philosophy, the reason for it. They'll show why they do it that way, and then they'll actually have us work in seminars to actually develop